Hi everyone, it's Darlene. Welcome to my video for the March challenge, which is Cards for Kids. I'm using this Gopher It set by Gerda Steiner Designs. It's so adorable. And I'm also trying out my new stencil by Faber-Castell. It's called Ice Layers, and it actually sticks to your cardstock. So I'm going to start by stamping onto some Neenah Solar White cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And then I'm going to color in my Gopher with 3 different Copic markers. I'm going to start by taking my darkest, it's an E57, just a dark brown, and I'm coloring all around the edges. And then I'm moving in with my medium, and I'm just going to color over the line. That's the first thing I do, is cover the line, the very edge of that darkest color, and then I move toward the center. And I also move a little bit toward the edge of the Gopher to blend those 2 colors together. And this third marker is pretty light, so I do have to do quite a bit of blending. So I'm just kind of going over that line first, and then I kind of work my way toward the middle. And I noticed that the top is still a little bit too light, so I pulled down that color a little bit with my medium E55. And then that way I just had a smaller area of light right in the middle, and then I just blend that out again with my E53. I forgot to finish off his ears, so I'll do that quickly. And now I'm going to work on his body. And I always do my coloring in sections. That way I don't have to worry about my markers drying. They just blend a lot easier when they're still wet. The Copic markers do dry, so it's not like you have to hurry, but it definitely works a little bit better when you color in sections. So I started by coloring my shadow areas first, and then I went in with my medium and then my light. And after I was done, I thought it's a little bit too light. I want it to be darker. So I took my dark here, and I'm just going over those dark shadow areas one more time and pulling out the color a little bit more toward the center with my medium, and then finally blending everything else out with the light. I stamped the glasses after I colored so that I would have a consistent coloring behind the glasses. And notice I'm using a larger block than I need so that I can see the whole head when I'm stamping. Now for his nose, I actually let this dry for a couple of minutes so I wouldn't have any bleeding between the 2 colors. And then I colored his nose a 110, which is a solid black. It's a great marker to have. All right, now I'm going to fussy cut this out with a scissor, and I'm going to get to work on my background. These stencils are new by Faber-Castell. They come with this sheet that you can store with it. The sticky side is very sticky, you can see, and I've used this multiple times. I've washed it multiple times, and it is still really super sticky. I found that the easiest way to adhere this to your paper is to do it with the sticky side up on the craft mat, because getting it to lay down straight on your paper is a little bit hard because of how sticky it is. So I'm just going to make sure it's secure to my cardstock. I have some Simon Says Stamp Surf Blue cardstock, and I'm just going to ink up these circles with some Stampin' Up! White craft ink. So I just wanted a subtle background so I wouldn't distract from my Gopher, who is my focal point. So I'm just using a sponge dauber, and I'm just getting it all the way almost to the bottom. I have a piece of cardstock I'm going to add, so I'm just making sure that I got it as far as I need it down so I can add that later. And then I'm going to take it off. Now, I have put this on and off multiple times. I've only torn the paper once, and I wasn't able to replicate it, but I find that if I take it off slowly, and that's how I usually do it, then I don't have any issues with it pulling the paper. I think the one time it pulled up the paper may have been because I kind of ripped it off really quickly. So I think if you just take your time and kind of pull it close to the cardstock a little bit at a time, you shouldn't have any problems. And I haven't had any problems with it, but you can see how incredibly sticky this is. So none of that ink is getting underneath my stencil. And another thing about these stencils is they're very strong and thick, kind of pliable, so I can kind of scrunch it up, and then it takes its shape right back. So they're really quite amazing. So just to show you how I wash, I just pulled it out of the sink after I rinsed off my ink, and I'm putting it sticky side down. I'll take a towel and wash off the dry off the non-sticky side. And then what I'm going to do is I'll pull it off the craft mat. It's still sticky even when it's wet. Turn it up so that the sticky side is up, and I just let it air dry like that. And I have not had any problems with any stickiness being removed from it, and it still works great. All right, so I have my 1 3/4 inch piece of Neenah cardstock. I'm just going to adhere this to the bottom. And then I put some Stampin' Up! Foam adhesive. These are just dimensionals on the back of my Gopher. And I'm going to prop him up kind of against that white. And I'm using my sentiment just to place him to make sure I have enough space for the sentiment later. And now I'm going to add a little bit of grass, so I'm kind of grounding him on this white area. I just put a bunch of dots of dark green, YG09, and then I added a bunch of dots of YG25. It's just to add a little bit of interest in his landscape. And then I put it in the MISTI to make sure I didn't mess anything up, and I'm just putting the sentiment that comes with this set. I'm stamping it in some Hero Arts black ink. And then I'm going to take this whole panel and adhere it to my card base, which is just an A2 card size Nina Solar White. My final detail is going to be some glossy accents. And so I'm just going to put some on top of his glasses so his glasses actually look like glass and they're nice and shiny. And that's the card for today. I really love this Gopher. He's so super cute. And these stencils are very impressive. I'm going to use another one on Friday, so stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.